Hey guys, this is the Funny Money Podcast, and we are back after a 1 month hiatus. Um, and we're going to be discussing the 2021 NFL Draft, our reactions to it, some surprises, some winners, losers, and I'm excited. I'm excited to be back, especially because we have been gone for like almost a month because we've just been super busy with sports and school and everything. So it's good to be back. So if you guys want to introduce yourselves, Nick, would you start?
I'm Nick. Got the King Henry jersey on.
Yes, sir. AJ. AJ's muted, so we're gonna
I'm AJ. I got the TJ Watt jersey.
Lewis,
I'm Lewis. I got the Hawkinson jersey.
Michael,
I'm Michael. I got the Steelers mask.
and JD.
JD, lifelong Jets fan. This year's our year.
Yes, sir. I am sadly rocking the Le'Veon Bell jersey. That did not age well. So let's start with our draft reactions. What are your guys' thoughts of this draft? Is anyone going to speak up? All right, I'll start then. Um, I thought this was a really fun draft. I thought this was actually the best draft in a while, just in the most exciting one in a while, just in terms of trades, quarterbacks taken. I think there was 4 in the first round or something like that. 4 or 5. Well, I think it was 5. So that was super exciting, and especially to see my Jets have a pretty nice draft. It was overall a good experience. The 2021 NFL draft, I would say. AJ.
I also thought it was a good draft. Very interesting first round, and the Steelers got the future Hall of Fame running back.
Najee Harris, baby. All right, Nick.
I think this draft was definitely not what a lot of people expected. I think there were a lot of picks that people just didn't see happening, like Trey Lance to 49ers, maybe. The Cowboys didn't get Surtain. The Broncos took Surtain. That was surprising. The Giants taking, what's his face? Kadarius Toney. It
Mm-hmm.
was a very surprising draft.
JD.
I would just say, coming from a Jets fan, it's probably our most hyped up draft since we really haven't had anything like this in a while. And I would just say the draft class as well, much better than ones in the past, at least being involved in it as a Jets fan.
Mm-hmm. Lewis, the Lions fan.
Yeah. Penei Sewell at 7 was definitely a shock. Also, he is a generational talent, so I didn't think he was going to get there. I still think the Bengals should have took him because they need to protect Joe Burrow.
All right, so first off, people don't know this, but Lewis was not a big fan of Penny Sewell being drafted at all. He was super pissed. Lewis, why were you so upset?
Out of all the positions we needed, we didn't need offensive line.
But you guys kind of need every position.
We could have used Devontae Smith more because our receiving core is.
Yeah, but with the line, you have to start with protecting the quarterback.
And I also like the Vikings pick. They were able to trade back and still get Darisaw.
Lewis just completely changed the topic. All right. And Michael.
I think this draft was really interesting considering like 50% of it wasn't what people expected. As a Steelers fan, I was behind the Najee pick when I first saw it. But then based on what they did later in the draft, I wasn't really a fan of the Najee pick.
You weren't a fan of the Najee pick.
Well, based on originally I was, but based on what they did later in the draft with their other picks, made me start to like it less.
How come? Well, because of like the lack of like offensive linemen.
We needed an O lineman, and then with our second round pick, we took a tight end.
That was so funny.
Well, supposedly
AJ
the tight end is a good run blocker.
But we needed like an actual blocker more because we had a lot of offensive linemen leave, like Villanueva, Pouncey retired, Foster retired, so we lost a lot of offensive linemen this year, and it doesn't help that we didn't draft any.
AJ was pissed. We were all watching it the second day in JD's basement, and AJ had to get up and leave because of his frustration with the franchise. AJ, do you see what was the tight end's name? I don't even remember.
It was Pat Freiermuth.
Do you think he's going to be a big part of your future?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
They already have Ebron, even though Ebron has butter hands. So we'll see.
Lewis, it is so obvious you're playing MLB The Show right now. this kid's like just staring away, not at the screen. All right, so biggest surprises of the draft. What do you guys think?
It is scaring when it's going up.
Lewis, since you're on the topic, what's some surprises of this draft?
I'm surprised that Darisaw fell so far. That the Vikings were able to trade back and still get him.
I thought that was interesting. I read something like if they weren't going to take, like, they obviously wanted Fields, but like they were really debating taking Darisaw at 14. They didn't think he would be available when they traded back with the Jets, but they got him. So I definitely agree that was a surprise. JD?
I would say the biggest surprise at the time is the Broncos passing up on Justin Fields. No one expected that. I feel like that was the farthest he could fall. But I mean, it seems a little better now considering that they're in the race for Rodgers, and I can completely understand them passing up on Fields if they land Rodgers, but if it doesn't happen, it's just a terrible pick.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Who would have thought Justin Fields to the Bears? I feel like every mock draft was either the Patriots or even the 49ers. And obviously, the Patriots got their future with Mac Jones, and we'll be talking about him in a bit. AJ, a surprise of the draft.
My surprise, but it wasn't a big surprise, was Jamar Chase to the Bengals. I was surprised they passed on Sewell instead of taking protection for their franchise quarterback after coming off a torn ACL. The pick didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, the Chase pick was super interesting. He's gonna be really good in the NFL. It's just if that was the right pick to choose. I think Chase is the highest graded receiver of all time, according to like Pro Football Focus. But I'd rather protect. Joe Harris got beat last year, so with that, you're not protecting it. Michael.
You
meant
just
Joe
drop his
Burrow.
phone?
Lewis, what do you say?
You said Joe Harris. You meant Joe Burrow.
I said Joe Harris.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. That Nets world is on my mind. Joe Burrow, if you watched him last year, he took a beating. It seems like every single game there's a highlight of him getting absolutely clocked by a defender. So I think it wasn't the right pick, especially if you could take a Hall of Fame lineman like Penei Sewell. But Chase, is definitely not a bad player by any means. Nick?
My surprise of the draft, it was actually the Giants trading their pick to the Bears. I mean, who had the Bears getting Justin Fields on one of their mock drafts this season? I don't think anybody actually knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah, my biggest surprise, there's a few of them for me. So one of them is the Panthers taking J.C. Horn over Patrick Surtain. That was surprising because I felt like it was a consensus that like everyone agreed that Surtain was the best corner in the draft, and obviously the Panthers went with J.C. Horn, who's definitely not a bad option at all. Some people, especially like recently, like before the draft, like right before the draft, J.C. Horn's stock went up. So I found that to be a little interesting. And Mac Jones falling to 15 and sitting right in the Patriots' lap without the Patriots even having to trade up. What are your guys' thoughts on that trade? Or no, not the lack of trade.
I feel like it was definitely not expected, especially with everyone's mock drafts and everyone thinking possibly 4 quarterbacks in a row to start the draft, or at least a trade within like 6 to 8 to come up and possibly grab Fields or Lance, who everyone thought could be around there. But nothing really happened until the Bears, and that's when it all started.
Yeah, I was so like the Patriots. I don't know. As much as I hate Mac Jones and I don't think he's going to be good, I feel like he's just going to be a jet killer. I feel like he's going to, knowing how the things roll in New England, he's going to be. They'll have their quarterback for the next 15 years. So that was super surprising for me. And obviously, also Devontae Smith going to the Eagles. I think every Giants fan assumed that Devontae Smith was going to be a Giant. And I'm sorry, but they made that way too obvious. They wanted Devontae Smith. And so the Eagles definitely, jumped on the opportunity and said, I'm not letting my division rival get, even stronger. So I thought it was a good move by the Eagles actually trading up and taking Smith. I think Smith his size has been way too critiqued and like it's been way too much of a topic or an issue. I think, if the guy can ball, he can ball, and Devonta Smith can obviously play. So I think that taking Smith was at 10. Yeah, at 10. I think that was a really good pick and a rare W for Howie. So Lewis, as he's playing MLB The Show, our favorite picks of the draft. Anyone want to say their favorite pick?
My favorite pick was Elijah Moore to the Jets. I think they needed a receiver there, and the fact that they got him in the beginning of the second round, when people like Kadarius Toney was taken before him, I think that was a huge steal.
Yeah, that goes for surprises for me because when I was watching the draft, I did not think Elijah Moore was going to be a Jet, but I assumed they would either go Tevin Jenkins or JOK or someone on the defensive end. But as a Jets fan, I can't even be mad at that pick. Elijah Moore is going to be perfect for us. He's going to be like a Deebo Samuel in the 49ers offense, except I think he's better than Deebo Samuel. It'll be a good slot guy for us. And you got to surround Zach Wilson with talent, something that we could not do with Sam Darnold. So I enjoyed that pick, and I didn't really think it would, that would happen, but I'm happy with it. So JD, what was your favorite pick? I think we all know what your favorite pick is going to be, but
Obviously my favorite pick is Fields to the Bears. I'm very high on Fields, have him as quarterback 2. I understand the Jets passing up scheme-wise with Wilson at BYU, but I think there's no excuse for him to get past the 49ers, and for him to fall all the way to 11 and Chicago to grab him, I think it's a great move.
AJ, what was your favorite pick?
My favorite pick was probably Rashawn Slater to the Chargers. I think it was surprising that he fell to them. They're just stacking the O-line to protect Herbert, and they probably have like a top 5 O-line in the league now. That was a great pick.
You think they have top 5 in the league?
Probably. I
Well,
don't think
with
so.
Lindsley and Slater, I don't know. They still have some holes, but it's definitely in the step in the right direction. After
Yeah.
that, Herbert dominated last year, and the only problem with that offense was probably the line, because their offense is loaded, and their defense has Joey Bosa and Derwin James. We haven't seen Derwin James in so long, but it feels like. But the Chargers are, if they weren't in that division, they honestly could be favorites to win some of those divisions because they're looking really good this year, and they had a really good draft. Didn't they take what was the safety's name?
Like Asante, I think.
Yeah, Asante Samuel, or the corner. Yeah, Asante Samuel was a really good pick for them. So, Nick, what's your favorite pick of the draft?
My favorite pick definitely had to be Rashad Bateman. I was so pissed about how dry the Ravens offseason was, wide receiver wise, and I think this guy could be the future best receiver in that division.
Yeah, my favorite pick, obviously, mine's similar to JD's. It's definitely the Bears, but I really liked I like the Eagles trading up and taking Devontae Smith. I think Devontae Smith's going to be a beast. The slander on him is just way too much. I think part of it is because he won the Heisman. That's like the most like prolific award to win in college football. So that definitely brought on a lot of hate, and his size especially. But that the Eagles finally solved their problem, what it seems like, of not having a receiver and, making the mistake year after year, not drafting the best receiver available. And they drafted the best receiver available. So hats off to the Eagles. And as much as I hate them, they did a very good job in that first round. So let's move on to wait, AJ, did you say your favorite pick? Oh, you said Rashawn Slater. All right. The worst pick of the draft.
The worst pick of the Jets, Alex Leatherwood. Raiders made a big time mistake with that pick. He was He was projected to go in the 3rd round, and they picked him in the late 1st.
I agree, and I do think it was it was unnecessary. But is it really the worst pick of the like?
I mean, he was projected. You could have got him in the 3rd round, and they took him in the 1st. They could have taken another receiver because their receiving core is just. They have Darren Waller, and that's it.
Well, I mean, they drafted Ruggs, and
Yeah.
Ruggs, I think it's kind of too early to really judge. But while I do think it was unnecessary, that pick, I don't think it was the worst. he definitely was available. But if the Raiders saw something that we didn't see, and the Raiders have done this before by surprising us with these draft picks, and JD just so I don't know. I definitely I could definitely see it being the worst pick. AJ.
I don't know if this is the worst pick, but I think a bad pick was the Giants taking Kadarius Toney. I think they made the right move trading back because they fleeced the Bears, like knowing they're not going to get their guy. So I feel like the trade back was the right move, but I think they drafted the wrong receiver because I think they should have drafted Bateman or even Elijah Moore is probably better than him. So I thought that was a bad
Nick.
pick.
I think mine would probably be Alex Leatherwood or the guy that the Steelers took in the second round, Pat Freiermuth, whatever the hell, from Penn State. That guy. I don't know. Just seems pretty unnecessary.
Yep, yeah, Pat Freiermuth. I don't know how to pronounce it really. He's a kind of funny last name. My least favorite pick was Travis Etienne to the Jaguars. That just was kind of a head scratcher. I get it. You want to surround Trevor Lawrence with weapons, especially with weapons that he's comfortable with and has had success with. But Urban Meyer came out and said Etienne's going to be a third round back. I don't understand why you would pick a third round back in the first round. Was it the 23rd pick? I think, or, one of those picks. That's just a head scratcher. I do think Etienne's going to be good, and I really wanted actually the Jets to get him in that second round with the 34th, but it's just a head scratcher to me. I don't understand why you take a third round back so early, especially when there's so many weapons out there. You could have surrounded Trevor Lawrence with a more competent line. You could have. It just didn't make sense to me. Michael, what was your what do you think was the worst pick at the draft?
I think that ETN pick was the worst because not only was he projected to go so late, but also they already have James Robinson.
Is Michael frozen on every guy's screen?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lewis, what was the worst pick?
I said Leatherwood.
Oh, yeah, you're right. My fault. I think everyone's replied. Everyone's commented on their worst pick. So, your
I
favorite
have to go
team?
for worst pick.
Wait, what happened? Oh, JD, did you say?
No, I think, well, Etienne's obviously up there, and then the corner Stokes for Green Bay with the situation Rodgers, and
Yeah.
I think it makes the situation worse. It's like they're almost trying to get him out of Green Bay. It's terrible.
Yeah, I don't disagree with taking a corner, but especially after seeing what happened with Rodgers, that's definitely you should probably surround him with weapons to make him a little more happy and please him. But what was your thought on your favorite team? So there's 3 Jets fans and 2 Steelers fans. So the Steelers fans, AJ and Michael, what are your guys' thoughts on your favorite team?
Najee Harris first. I was a big fan of it. Usually you shouldn't take a running back in the first round, but I feel like you can't pass up on Najee Harris because he fits the Steelers scheme. So I thought that was a good first round running back to take. But
Yeah,
then
Michael.
the second round pick, not a fan.
Not a fan. Michael, what was your thought on the Steelers draft? All right, I think. All right, wait, no, Michael left. So Nick or JD, what is your thought on the Jets draft?
I'm very happy with it. Obviously, big fan of Fields, but I completely understand where they come from with Zach Wilson. Same scheme at BYU. I love the trade up. You get Vera Tucker, best interior O lineman in the draft. Left side is super strong. And then to get a playmaker like Elijah Moore at the beginning of the second round, I think it was just all great. Very happy and excited for next year.
All right, Nick, what were your thoughts on the Jets?
JD pretty much pulled the words right out of my mouth. The trade was pretty good. I really liked the Elijah Moore pick, although we already had our receiving core is actually pretty deep now. We've got like 5 pretty notable guys there. They're all
Mhm.
young too.
Yeah.
I think our team has a bright future.
Yeah, with the Jets, I like Zach Wilson. I think he's going to be good. You could argue that Fields will be better. You could argue for hours about that. think I think Zach Wilson fits the best in their scheme. I love the Vera Tucker trade up. People are saying, oh, they traded too much. But the Jets have made so many bad mistakes over the years, taking you have to protect your quarterback, and they have failed to do that. And Vera Tucker was not going to be available at 24. He was going to probably be, he's going to be taken way before then. And I just don't see the hate. I thought trading up was going to be good. Hopefully your left side is locked up for the next 10 years. And the Elijah Moore pick was awesome. I love surrounding Zach Wilson with weapons and Michael Carter. Some people have Michael Carter as a running back too of the draft. So that was just, it was really good to see. And as a Jets fan, it's good to see your franchise going in the right direction. And, it seems like the Jets have been hopeless for so long. And it kind of feels like there's a light at the end of the tunnel with Joe Douglas and Saleh. So, Lewis, what are the Lions? What are your thoughts?
I've gotten over. I think Penny Sewell is actually a good pick now. But if to make the GM that happy for a pick, usually it doesn't happen for a GM to be that happy to get a player like Penny Sewell. And the fact that our coaching staff works well together with the GM, it also helped because the GM looked happy with every pick he made. People are criticizing our 2 D tackles in a row, but we're getting the trenches done now, so later we don't have to deal with it. We can deal with our skill positions later. And then we also took St. Brown in the 4th round, which I think was a steal.
Yeah,
So
that
I
was
think-
definitely a steal. The Lions, they for the first time in a while they've had a pretty good draft. So, we don't have a lot of time left. So everyone, just say your winner of the draft. JD, would you like to start? I think we know who the winner is, but we'll see.
I would say 3 notable teams up there have to be the Browns, the Jets, and the Bears. I think all their picks were amazing, especially JOK falling to the Browns. The Bears, obviously, Kevin Jenkins in the 2nd, Fields in the 1st, back-to-back great picks, and I just think the Jets all around had a great draft.
Lewis.
I'm going to say, I think this is controversial, but I think one of the big winners of the draft is the Chiefs. They just filled out some of the positions that they need, and they filled them out with good players, with not the greatest picks. They were able to get quality picks. And I think the winner of the draft is the Browns.
What was your favorite pick of the Chiefs?
I don't know the names. but they took an offensive lineman. They took a center that can upgrade the center they already have. They took a linebacker right now. They just took all the positions they needed.
All right, we have less than a minute. So AJ.
I had the same 3 teams as JD. Jets, Bears, and Browns. I think they're the undisputed top 3 winners of the draft.
All right, Nick.
I think the Dolphins should also be up there for having one of the best drafts. I think as long as Tua plays the way he should this year, I think they could actually go to the playoffs.
Yeah, I had the same as JD. Jets, Browns, and I just had a brain fart. Jets, Browns, and who else?
Bears.
Bears, yes. All right, so that's a wrap. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Funny Money podcast. It's been a blast. Hopefully we can get back on track and making more episodes, weekly. So thank you guys, and have a great day, and like and subscribe. Thank you.